The best of the week on Relevant Radio.
I couldn't help but talk about this trend. And I don't think it's this sudden trend out of nowhere. I think that more and more people, the more they engage in one-night stands, actually recognize what they always recognize. My gut doesn't want this, particularly women. More so women. But I think more people are willing to say it. It's avant-garde to be countercultural today. That's why women are opting out of casual sex and saying goodbye to the hookup culture we've seen. Probably the best article I've read in a long time. It was written by Sarah Hernholm, and she writes at Evie Magazine. Titles, Stop Having Sex You Don't Want, How to Change Your Mind After You Said Yes. That's right. We are walking through how-tos on how to say no, whether things have gotten started, they're heading in that direction, maybe there's concern about safety, all of it, because I think this is a topic that is so relevant and no one talks about. And this article gave concrete hands-on advice and examples of how to navigate this. There was a study done for 2025, a national study on modern love and dating in 2025, a survey that was conducted in partnership between datingadvice.com and the Kinsey Institute. And do you know what they found? I think this is really striking. That more and more, in particular, women are opting out of the hookup culture. The dating scene that includes sleeping with each other, casual sex, as the young ones call it today. What this is showing is actually pulling statistically a quiet revolution where suddenly casual sex, casual hookup culture is starting to fizzle with fewer one-night stands and fewer people just stuck in this endless, monotonous relationship of no commitment that women do not want. But here's the deal. A third of Gen Z now is identified as, quote, celibate, abstinent, okay? 1 in 5 are reporting that this is an involuntary circumstance, woe is them. But another 1 in 5 that are striking a chord, in particular 1 in 5 women, are saying this is a deliberate choice to be abstinent, to not engage in the casual, intimate culture that isn't really that intimate because it leaves you with no commitment. It leaves you out there saying, hey, there are no strings attached for the long haul and permanently. But if you are in the dating scene or know someone who is, which we all do, a sister, a child, a friend, there is a singleness epidemic today. And you know what? Don't be offended if you're single because you know you're suffering through it. So this article from Sarah Hernholm, she actually wants to help people with this crisis they face of not being able to say no, specifically women, because women want to say no. Our conscience kicks in whether we identify as Christian, Catholic, or whatever, because God created us as human beings. And that gut feeling that women have to say no or to change their mind after being a people pleaser is real. We're getting a little risky today on trending, so little ears warning for a moment here, but I think this is important. Whether you have teenagers, college students, or maybe, hey, you're just 30 or 40 something and you're single, this is relevant for all of us. It's having the ability and the confidence to say no. And we know as a culture that women for too long have been treated as if they perpetually need to be hot and available and to say yes. It's telling. And they don't know how to back out when things get heated or when they say yes but really mean no, or when they simply change their mind. Now, the research is really clear. Whether you're looking at this research from datingadvice.com and the Kinsey Institute or other places, women are the ones who come out hurt when we have casual relationships outside of marriage. Women are the ones who carry babies. Women are the ones who produce more oxytocin during intimacy, which is that bonding hormone that is released, by the way, when you nurse a baby. It's released when you hug for a prolonged period of time because it's meant to attach you and bond you to another individual. And so when people say, oh, you're being emotional if you're attached after a one-night stand, or after you started sleeping with someone and now he's broken it off and you are heartbroken. You have chemically bonded to him not only emotionally, but chemically. There's a biological, physiological response to that particular person. And that is a good thing. That is a gift when you are married, because marriage is not easy. And we need how God made intimacy to be a conjugal union, which means only within the context of marriage, so that we could stay bonded, so it could be for the good of spouses, so that it could be for the good of creating families and a human life. And ultimately, as Catholics, we get that children are for our sanctification, to help get us to heaven, because we have to get over little old me over here who has a hard time with everything from tiny tot tantrums to one day, as many of you have been there long before me, the teenage years, the adult years, you name it, is for our sanctification. That is what marriage, that's why marriage is a sacrament. But you can't get there if you don't know how to say no. And something that is said in this article that I think is so important is by Sarah Hernholm, is that your body already knows. Our biology knows exactly what it's supposed to do, she said. And these studies that show that women struggle psychologically with anxiety, with depression, that they're in distress, they have low self-esteem, and even reduced life satisfaction after engaging in a casual hookup culture, even with someone they're seemingly committed to, is telling us that our bodies know what they're doing. Our bodies were created with a purpose, even when it comes to something that we were told that we needed to be sex positive about and say, hey, it's not that big of a deal. Men historically have been able to engage in the Coolidge effect. That is not only sleeping with multiple partners, but creating offspring with multiple women. That is a little more oriented toward the tendency and the mechanics of men. But women are physiologically wired to be more connected and committed to the person. Not that men can't be, but we're different as women. And part of that has to do with the fact that we can carry babies. So she takes real life scenarios from real scripts from women she's talked to, women who have navigated this. So here's the first one. He assumes this is what's happening, whether it's a first date or it's every date. She draws a scene. She says, you've been making out for a while, and he starts moving things toward the bedroom, and you realize you don't want this. She tells you what you actually need to say. Instead of saying, I don't know, I'm sorry, maybe, be clear. She said, what actually works is, I'm not feeling like having this tonight. That's it. You don't have to apologize or explain. It's clear. I'm not feeling like having this tonight. If he pushes back, then you say, I'm being really clear about what I want. I hope that's not a problem. And guess what? If it is, he's not a keeper, and you just dodged a bullet. In fact, that's what one woman said. Her testimony said, I used almost these exact words. He got up and made some excuse about an early morning and left. It showed me everything I needed to know. Clearly, I dodged a bullet. Guess what? When you say no, you actually are able to weed through the weeds. Then there's the situation where you already said yes, but you've changed your mind. Sound like any women? It happens. You're already in the intimate place. Maybe you're not feeling it. Maybe you had a weird vibe ship. Maybe you realize that this just isn't what you want. That's your conscience kicking in. So she says, instead of not saying anything and freezing, say, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm not feeling this anymore. Can we stop? And when he seems annoyed, you just say, I know it's awkward, but I need to stop. I'm not comfortable continuing. A 23-year-old actually shared a story saying, I literally said I changed my mind halfway through. He was confused but respectful. We got dressed, talked a bit, and he left. Texted me the next day saying he respected me for being honest and asked if he'd reacted badly. She said, that showed me exactly who he was. Showed her exactly who he was. Possibly a potential, right? Okay, next situation. You've been in a situation where intimacy was a part of the deal, and now you want to shift things. Here's what you say. And I love that she gives you concrete examples and words to walk through. I'm not doing casual anymore. If you want to keep seeing me, let's date. Let's date for real. Getting to know each other, the whole thing. No more just hooking up. Now, if he says, I thought we were just having fun, you can say, we were I'm not anymore. So if you're interested in something real, I'm open to that. If not, no hard feelings, but we're done. You're clear. You don't have to explain yourself. You're not into it anymore. You want something better. You're not asking permission. You're saying what is available, and you're saying it clearly. Then there's the first date. Things are moving way too fast. The situation is, maybe it's the first or the first couple of dates. He invites you back to his place or suggests you invite him. What actually works here? I don't do first date hookups. If you're interested in getting to know me, let's plan another date. Real clear. And if he seems disappointed, you just say, I just want to hang out more. You can say, we can hang out more on our next date. I'm heading home. Hello, have you ever heard of just saying goodbye, shut the door, walk away? We actually, as human beings, have self-control. One woman shared in the article, I used to feel like I had to give a guy something after a date. Now I just say, thanks, I had fun, and I leave. The one who actually likes me asks for a second date. The one who just wanted a one-night stand moves on. And I actually see this as the best filter. Then there's a situation where you're already at his place, and there's a scenario. It turns from just watching a movie to now you feel trapped and pressured. Now, here's what works. I'm actually going to head out. This isn't the vibe I'm looking for tonight. If you feel unsafe, get out of an unsafe situation. You can say, oh no, my roommate just texted. It's an emergency. I gotta go, and leave immediately. I know someone's gonna come over here telling me that I told the world to lie. If you are in an unsafe situation, someone is trying to force himself on you and you're trying to not escalate the situation, I think it's okay to just say, it's an emergency. I've gotta go. My roommate needs me, and leave immediately, because your safety really does come first here. And if you don't have better words to communicate and he's not giving a safe environment, you got to get out of there. And you just grab your stuff, you get up and say, it's not up for debate, thanks for having me over, and you dash off. A 24-year-old wrote in, who learned this the hard way, said, I wasted 2 hours making excuses and trying to politely decline because I didn't want to seem rude. Finally, I just said, I'm leaving, and walked out. He texted me angry paragraphs, and I blocked him. You see, it's actually simple. You just need to be direct, not apologetic, because a lot of the time women, for some reason, think they need to say sorry when they try to people please. The more you explain, the more you have room for negotiation. I love this article. She goes on to say, focus on what you want, not what he might think. And you're clear, I'm just not feeling this. Finally, it's not negotiable. You're informing, you're not asking permission. This is your body. What's that mantra we hear all the time from the pro-abortion movement? Your body, your choice. It is your choice, but the choice starts before you ever say yes. You know, those phrases that she walked through in this article here at Evie Magazine on how to say no, because it is avant-garde. It is all the trend to say goodbye to the hookup culture, and women are opting out of casual sex. Sarah Hernholm did a great job in this article, a 10 out of 10 read. So what are some of those phrases? I'm not comfortable with this. I've changed my mind. I'm not doing this tonight. I need to stop. This isn't what I want anymore. I'm going to head out. I'm not interested in going further. Very simple. Just little lines to build up that confidence. Because here's the deal. I've spent the last 15 years talking to women from middle school to high school, working in crisis pregnancy centers, sidewalk counseling, outside of abortion businesses. And the simple ability to concretely be confident and say no without apologizing, without leaving the door open, without feeling bad about what he thinks, actually can protect and save your life and your future. We need to equip and empower women to believe that they can say no. Or they just don't know how to say no because it's uncomfortable. And it's okay, though, to say I've changed my mind about what I want. And I love that. And I love our Catholic faith because we have this great sacrament of confession, a healing balm to right the wrongs we have done, to enter into that relationship with Christ that we so deeply want. And he calls us to chastity. And when we ask for that, he gives it to us. But we have to want it. We have to practice these concrete words. And we have to get back up time and time again, go running to confession. We see how necessary Christ in our life is.